Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Alvinia. I'm a student at Muhammadiyah University, Sidoarjo. Now, I will explain how to improve speaking skills. Do you know? Speaking is a skill in English. Speaking is an English material about increasing the ability of students to be able to conduct communication dialogue in English. According to Shani and Kay, 2006, speaking is the process of building and sharing meaning with verbal and nonverbal symbols. This means that in various contexts, the form and meaning depend on the context in which it occurs, including the participants themselves, their collective experience, physical environment, and purpose for speaking. This is often spontaneous, open, and developing. Then, support by Bahman, 2002. Speaking is the sharing of social activities of speaking. That means two or more people talk to each other about things they feel are interested and relevant in the situation. Their goal can be to spend time, entertain each other, share opinions, or get things done. Our speaking ability can be honed by way of discussion. There are role play or story playing, storytelling, and story completion. But the time that I use the storytelling method, which is an activity carried out by students to tell a story that they had heard before, can also make a story of your own to tell to classmates later. Storytelling requires a high level of creativity. This is one of the approaches to improving our ability in speaking in order to motivate students to improve their speaking abilities. Next, using the storytelling method as a learning medium for speaking can be done with the following steps. The first, study the story to be told. Various attempts can be made to learn a story. For example, by reading or listening to a story over and over, writing or retyping a story, making a chart or story scheme, or directly telling a story. Everyone can choose their own way according to their respective needs. The important thing is to understand and master the contents of the story to be told. The second, describe the scene of the story in memory. This will help in remembering and building stories. Some parts of the story might be remembered word for word. For example, the beginning or end, important conversation, or repeat expression. However, it is very dangerous to remember word for word from the whole story. It is likely that these words are difficult to remember. Therefore, describing the scene of the story in memory is a way to remember and build a story so as not to get caught up in words. And then, the third, practice in front of the glass. It is advisable to do exercises in front of the mirror or be recorded with an audio or video recording device. Thus, we can see and assess ourselves. Next, the first thing that is important in practice in understanding the storyline. After that, it will be focused on how to deliver. The fifth, use repetition. Repetition shows that something needs attention. This technique is very useful in storytelling. In studying the story, pay attention to the phrases or words that are repeated. Similarly, in storytelling use repetition so that the attention of the audience is focused on our story. The sixth, use variations. In telling story, variations are needed so that the story does not feel monotone. Various variations that can be done are the tone, pressure, volume, speed of sound, rhythm, and articulation, smooth or sharp. Silence is also needed. Remember that variations of these things can attract and keep the audience attentions from moving to other things. Next, use body movements or gestures. Body movements can be done only if needed in the story. Use bodily movements to express actions or to emphasize. Body movements are also a way to invite the attention of the audience. Next, pay special attention to the beginning and end of the story. When telling the beginning of a story, it can be related to the story itself or to things around us, but it must still revert to the plot or plot. Delivering the end of the story must be clear so that the audience understands that the story has been complete without having to say it. This can be done by slowing down and or giving emphasis. And then, photographing characters or figures. Pay special attention to how the characters are portrayed. Characters must be displayed with life, for example by face, voice, or body movements. Efforts should be made to display each character differently so that it is easily to tell. And the last, prepare yourself. Telling a story can work well if the preparation is done not only related to the story itself but also with ourselves as the person who will tell the story. Our voice and body are tools that can be used as well as possible in telling a story. To practice sound, we can do it by breathing deeply properly. Put your hands on your stomach. When breathing is pulled, the lungs within the stomach should feel depressed. Many people who do the opposite hold the stomach and breathe only with a moving chest. Also make sure the body is in a upright position so that the lungs can move freely. But there are advantage and disadvantage of the steps of the learning method. The advantage of this method include: first, can increase student participation in the material to be learned during the learning process. And the second, suitable for simple tasks. And the third, get more opportunities to give or get input or each group member. And then interacting is more easily established both among fellow group members with other groups and between group members and the teacher. And the last, it's easier and faster to form groups so it doesn't waste a lot of time. Disadvantage of the method include: the first, many groups report and are monitored, so teachers must be more able to share opportunities with these groups. The second, fewer ideas emerge because one group consists of only 2 people. Each group can only interact and discuss with one other group member before finally having a discussion or group. And the last, if there is a dispute between group members, there will be no mediator. So, ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion of this discussion are: learning English is difficult for students to learn, especially for students who are not majoring in English. Students who are not too interested in learning English. Therefore, it is important for teachers to disseminate better strategies. After conducting research with the rural storytelling strategy, there was an increase in student speaking scores and increased interest in learning English, especially in the field of speaking. Okay, that is all I can say. Sorry if there is a mistake. Hopefully the knowledge delivered is useful for you. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.